Welcome back to another video. My name's Carl and I run Tri-Tec Automotive in Swindon. I'm a Mercedes and AMG specialist. Today we've got another W204 C63 in. We're going to be rebuilding the cam adjusters because he's got a rattle on startup. We've also given it a health check whilst it's here, and it does need a couple of little bits. He's recently bought it. Going to be getting front tyres replaced, a wheel alignment. It's also got a broken rear spring, so we're going to be addressing that whilst it's here. We're going to be doing cam adjuster rebuilds using the 63 Motorsports kit, and we're also going to be replacing both rock covers because they're both leaking. Being a facelift car, it's got the plastic rock covers which are known for leaking, so we're going to do those at the same time. Quite an unusual spec, this car. It's called Dolomite Brown, with the kind of off-white interior, believed to be the only C63 in this colour in the UK. And please forgive how hot it is in here. It's currently the hottest week of the year, so struggling a little bit, but we will carry on as we've got this one to do. Got the white one on the ramp over there with the engine out. If you watched our previous video, we had a load of broken rock cover bolts, so let's hope we don't have the same issue on this one. Let's get into it. So I'm roughly half an hour into this job now, and I've got both rock covers off. So it just goes to show the difference compared to the white car that I've recently done, that sometimes they come off really nicely, or the bolts come out. Quite a lot of the bolts on this one, particularly on the passenger side, were actually loose, literally finger tight. So they've obviously worked themselves loose over time with the heat cycles. There's quite a lot of oil on the left-hand side, coil packs, and even the bottom of the airbox are all slightly wet with oil. So that'll all get cleaned up. Like I said, we're doing new covers anyway on this one, but it's just one thing to bear in mind really if you're going to do these yourself. If the rock covers come off fine, which I would say in general they usually do, then it's great, easy. But if they end up like that white one over there and the bolts snap off in the head and they won't come out easily, then it can escalate into a much bigger job. Just had a look at the cams from what I can see so far. I'll turn it over when I turn the engine up and inspect everything that I can see of the cams and lifters, but they look fine. Engine looks to be in quite good condition. Tiny little bit of discolouring and kind of staining on the cams, but that's not unusual at all for this kind of mileage. Oil's a tiny bit dark, so could maybe do with an oil change, but not the worst I've seen by far. Sometimes you'll see where the cams and the adjusters and everything are really a dark brown kind of stained colour. There is a very small amount of wear on the lobes. I think I've said in a previous video that I generally see that the inlet cam sees more wear than the exhaust cam, from my experience anyway. So a very small amount of wear, not really anything to be concerned about. I will turn it over and check the rest of the lobes because obviously I can't see them all at the moment, but I will be able to when I spin the engine around. My general rule of thumb with these is a little bit of wear on the tip of the lobe is okay. I mean, in an ideal world, there should be no wear at all, but cams are very expensive for these. They're also very difficult to get hold of. There's really not many options other than Genuine and a couple of aftermarket companies. But generally, you still have to send your cams away to get kind of modified and refreshed, which means a lot of downtime for the car. They're all relatively expensive. So I will let the customer know that there is some slight wear. I would say it's in line with the mileage is what I'd expect to see. I only really worry about the cams if it started to break off the hardening. So if you rub your finger across the lobe or the tip of the lobe, if there's actually pitting in it and it's broken off like the hardened material from the end of the lobe, that's when it's really an issue, because that will just start to eat through the hydraulic lifter. And that's when you see the cars that when they're left for a long time, eventually it will wear fully through the lifter until the cam is pushing directly on the top of the valve stem, and it will just destroy the cam, the lifter, the valve, everything. Makes a mess. So that's what I do. I've had some in the past where I've had wear on the lobe and it is really quite pitted, so those have been replaced, but I think these ones will be fine to leave. Obviously, we'll have a chat with the customer and see what he wants to do. Something else I've just spotted on this car whilst I'm about to remove the V-bout, and it's something that I've seen a few times before. The V-bout is routed incorrectly, so it's a little bit difficult to see, but two sections of the bout down here that are very close together, and the bout should actually be under this pulley here. The top section goes straight across the top, and then the lower section of the bout should go under, and they've actually run it over, which means that those two sections about are literally millimeters apart. And obviously clearly it works because the bout has stayed on, but there's a risk of it coming off and shredding the bout. With the V-bout off, you can flip it inside and check it. Don't know if you can see, but it's just got very slight cracks in it in a few places. So that's the reason, one of the reasons why I like to take it off. First reason being that you can inspect it. You can also spin up the pulleys, all the idler pulleys, I'm not sure if you can hear that, but they are slightly noisy. And also take it off so that you don't get oil on it, because when you take these front covers off, it can drop oil down onto the valve. That's another thing that I always recommend to do on these. It's not too bad on this one. Tiny little cracks in the belt in like 3 or 4 places, and the pulleys are starting to get a little bit noisy. So I will advise the customer that it probably does want doing relatively soon, just to be on the safe side, because they are known for failing, and they can cause quite a lot of damage. When the belt fails, they can actually damage the thermostat. So where this coolant pipe here runs across from the reservoir into this little plastic fitting in the front of the thermostat, quite often when the belt fails, it will snap that plastic fitting off. So it turns a belt failure into a much bigger, kind of more expensive job. So as always with a lot of things on these cars, or any cars for that matter, it's better to do things as preventative maintenance, and you will save yourself money in the long run rather than waiting until those items fail. This is where I'm at now with it. Both rocker covers off and the belt off, idler pulley off, so that it just makes it easier to see the timing mark on the crank pulley. Again, there's no crank locking tool for these, but there is a cam locking brace here in the back there, and then this plate which aligns the front section of the cam adjusters. I just had to take the tools off of the engine over there because that one was timed up. I've got 2 sets. I could do with 2 more sets really, but these are about £1,500 for enough to do both banks at the same time. Genuine Mercedes timing tools, so obviously quite an expense to buy another set. So I can make do for now. I just let the cams relax on that one, took the timing tools off, swapped them over to this one, and then I will swap them back once this one's done. So now I can get these 18mm bolts undone on the front of the cam adjusters, get these off, and then start to rebuild them. We have now jumped forward a day or 2. I had to put this one to the side whilst I had some other jobs booked in. Fortunately, the customer is not in a rush at all for this one to go back, and that was the plan when we dropped it off, that it would just get done around some other jobs that I've had in. So this is where we're at now, basically back to the same point that I just previously showed you, but the cam adjusters are rebuilt. You can see the new locking plate in there. So new locking plates on all 4, new pins, new springs, all back together, torqued up, spun it over twice, and now I've put the tools on again, which is what you can see there. So it's all timed up. I'm happy with it. Next step is to take the tools off and then get the rock covers on. Also, whilst the car was in, I've had a good look over it, done kind of a full health check on it, because the customer has quite recently bought this car, and it's a very nice car, to be honest, in good condition. It's got good service history. But we found a couple of other items that we're going to address whilst it's here, and a couple of other items that the customer wants to address as preventative maintenance. So the items which it needs are, the front tyres are very, very low on the inner edges. Literally the first centimetre or so of tread is completely gone, almost down to the quartz. So it's got good Michelin Pilot Sport 4S's on the rear, so we'll get a pair of 4S's for the front. We'll get the alignment checked and adjusted to stop it from wearing out that inner edge again. These do tend to wear the inner edge, but not quite to the extent that this one has. So tyres, wheel alignment, we're going to get the MOT done for him. We're going to do a brake fluid change, just because it's not been done for a little while. Front disc and pads, which the customer has asked us to do. And it's also got a broken rear spring, so that needs doing before the MOT. Relatively common on these, particularly on the rear, where the spring sits down inside the lower arm and it just kind of accumulates dirt and corrosion and then breaks. And people don't always spot it because it doesn't necessarily make the car drop. And if you don't know where to look, it can be missed on service and MOT. But that's not an issue. We'll get 2 springs and get those on. And then other than that, it's all up together. So once we get through these items, injectors as well. Customer supplies some injectors. I believe he got them from SPR, or he bought them from someone who bought them from SPR. So for those who don't know, SPR are a Mercedes specialist up near Manchester, quite big on YouTube. I don't know them personally, but I do watch a lot of the videos. They're also a 63 motorsports dealer, and from what I see, they do a really good job. And they also sell parts. So normally, I say to everyone that I only fit genuine parts, other than aftermarket parts such as the 63 motorsports parts, which are an upgrade from the OEM part. But in the case of these injectors, they are made by Bosch for Mercedes. The Mercedes ones are pretty expensive, to be honest. They're roughly £120 each. So if I supply them, I will generally supply Mercedes injectors. But on this occasion, the customer has managed to source some genuine Bosch ones. They have got the QR codes on the boxes so that you can confirm that they're genuine, because there has been issues over the years with fake injectors. So there's companies out there producing essentially just knockoff replica injectors. Even in the boxes and everything, the boxes look legit, the injector itself looks legit, but the internals are just not what they need to be. So I've heard stories of people building engines and then when they get on the dyno, an injector fails, just destroys the engine. And it turns out it was because they were cheap or fake injectors. So we do need to be careful about that, which is why I like to supply genuine Mercedes injectors plus the warranty you get with them. But in this case, we've got genuine Bosch injectors from SPR, which we know are a legit, reliable source. So yeah, they'll be going in. And then also we've noticed a couple of tiny little cracks in the V-belt, and the idler pulleys are slightly noisy. And I've said to the customer, it's not drastic, but they're a known issue on these cars that the idler pulley sees shreds about. It can end up causing more damage because it can break the thermostat and things like that. So he said, look, yeah, whilst it's there, we'll just get everything done, get it all up together. Now we have everything built back up, new rocker covers on both sides, cam adjusters rebuilt. I have also just put new injectors in. I've just placed the airboxes on top. They're not fully in position. Just put them on like that and left the foam out from underneath so that I can run the engine, make sure we got no fuel leaks, and just double check everything before I clean the inlet manifold off and fully reassemble everything. So final update on this one, all back together. We've rebuilt the cam adjusters, done the injectors, new rock covers. We've done new front brake disc and pads, put rear springs on it, a few other minor items. Just put two new Slim Pilot Sport 4S's on the front, so it's now got 4S's all round, and just took it for the wheel alignment to be done. Gonna run it to the garage over the road for me for MOT later today. We've washed it off, so it's all nice and clean now. Colour really does look good in the sunlight. So this one, all ready to go back to the customer tomorrow. Everything up together and ready to enjoy. We have just had the next one dropped off, so we've got the white one inside that we're going to put the engine back in shortly. Just had this CLS 63 dropped off. Also a very nice colour. Been set up for a couple of years, so we're just going over it, making sure everything's good. I've given it a service. Also going to put some injectors in it. And then the customer's got a few bits that he's going to do himself. He's got new brakes for it, new tyres, going to get the wheels redone. Just basically recommission it. But it's a really nice, clean car. Clearly been very well looked after. Low mileage as well. It's got a slight air leak from one of the rear airbags. So that's why it's sat down slightly on the back, but it lifts up fine as soon as you run the engine. So I'm going to get this one in now, do the injectors, and then we'll be back on the white one, which is on the ramp. Get the engine back in that one. Thank you for watching this video. Please don't forget to like and subscribe and drop a comment down below. And if you've got any vehicle with an M156 engine, feel free to get in contact with us.